pressed, which means we are now live. Good morning, Debbie Dudar. Good morning, watchers, listeners. How are you doing?
I'm all right, Bertie.
Fair to shit.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, Debbie. I'm just drinking coffee and I'm not hungover at all. What about you?
I am a little bit hungover.
Little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. It's Friday, and I went out last night and woke up in my dress, so that's an indication.
That's good. I think that's always a good sign of a good night out when you sleep in your clothes. At least you slept, so that's a good sign. So this is your second live today. So how was that first live then?
I mean, I think it went well. I'm hoping it did. I don't know. I said things, and that's the main thing, isn't it? I contributed.
Exactly. So, Debbie, on that subject then, so hungover, turning up for 2 lives. What are we going to talk about today?
Failure!
Yes. Today we're talking about getting comfortable with fucking up.
Yes, exactly. So I'm literally doing it now. I'm practicing what that looks like. Yeah.
It was almost like it was deliberate, wasn't it? That was it. It's like, oh, we're just talking about fucking up tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Let's just get drunk.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think there's that thing, isn't it, where you're like, oh my God, we've had these lockdowns, and then you go out and you kind of just, I don't know, grab it all and get really excited and have too much fun and dancing in sheds. That's what I was doing.
Nobody died. Everyone's happy. We're all okay. So that's
yeah, exactly. And it's not really a fucking up. It's okay. I'm holding it together. We're doing all right.
It's everything's going to be okay. All fine.
Everything's going to be okay.
So fucking up there. So why is getting comfortable with fucking up important? Why is should I be asking you questions?
Yeah, if you're not making mistakes, if you're not trying things and failing, then you're not really doing anything, are you? Like, you don't want to lie in your deathbed and go, I never took any risks, but life was okay. And I think there's a lot of fear around things not working, or people seeing that it hasn't worked, or what that looks like. But actually, most of business is just trying things out, trying out new products, trying out new ways of working, trying out new messages. And if you're so scared of it not working, you won't do anything. And then how can you grow? Like, exactly. How can you grow as a person, or how can your business grow? So I think you've got to get really comfortable with this idea of not being great at everything and not everything going the way you want it to go.
That's right. Making mistakes is absolutely crucial in business, and I think it's twofold. I think it's one, admitting that we all make mistakes and like we're all not perfect, and we hide sometimes behind this veil on social media, and we try and project this perfect image with our perfect ratings and everything. And I think it doesn't really project the humanness behind it. We're all human beings, and I know you share a lot more than probably most people, so you're a living, breathing example of of how to do this properly. But I think and I'm not saying you have to go on there and share every single failure or every single down day that you're having, but I think just saying when you've made mistakes is really, really crucially important. You don't have to do it publicly, but at least admit it to yourself, because there are plenty of people out there that go through life with the belief that, well, I never make a mistake. Like, it's always someone else's fault. It's their fault. And, you have to, take ownership of those problems to be able to deal with them. But B, just saying that out loud, just saying that you actually do make mistakes, allows you that freedom to be able to test and learn and fail, because it's only really a mistake. You've only really fucked up if you don't learn from it. So it's an opportunity to learn, and growth in business comes from learning, essentially.
Yeah, I love what you just said there. It's only really a failure if you're not learning from it. And so everything that you do, you're like, well, if that didn't work, why didn't it work? What could I do better next time? What did I bring into it? Is it, I don't know, it could be a whole heap of stuff, and it's kind of examining that. And businesses will fail, and that's okay. Like, ideas will fail, products that you put out there will fail, but by constantly testing and trying things, you're almost going to get to that magic source, the thing that works, like the way of working that works, or the product that works, or the clients that you work with that will work. And you kind of almost have to go through quite a few iterations and quite a few versions of things to get to that, like, yes, it's working, it's seamless, you know, I'm working smarter, not harder, and all of those wonderful things. And you've got to keep pushing, I think, and being okay with that. And obviously, we've spoken about this before. Fear, like it's a big thing, isn't it? Like fear of success or fear of failure. But you've just got to do it. Like there is just put your big girl pants on or your big boy pants on or whatever, and just be like, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna try, and I'm gonna give it my best shot. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. I can go off and do something else. Like the first 2 businesses that I helped set up, both don't exist anymore. You know, they just don't exist because the business model didn't work. You know, they were kind of like, I don't know, these dream social enterprises, and, you know, Camden Council and Nottingham Council thought that would be their golden ticket to services in those cities, and neither of those exist anymore. But that's okay, because we learned so much trying to make them work that I've then brought into my businesses now, that learning, going through that process, trying to make products that work, trying to make stuff that sell. So all of it's experience, isn't it?
It is. And I think sometimes you just have to physically experience those things. You have to be uncomfortable and experience that pain of failure yourself. Sometimes you just can't. You just can't.
Businesses I've set up are not working, and we're closing them. Like, that's a terrible thing, isn't it? You're like, oh my God, you poured your life and soul into it, but it's okay. Like, it's all right.
Exactly. And when you look back, it's probably the best thing to have happened, because you know, if that failure didn't happen, you wouldn't be in this position now. You know, with loads and loads of happy clients and, you know, successful businesses and everybody loves you. You know, so that's that's but that's what's happened as a result. And those things, those big failure blocks are stepping stones. It's like I was when I go to the gym now with my son, and like I'm always telling him, like, when you put in the weights on the bar, like, make sure you load them evenly, because that bar is going to tip. And everyone in the gym has always done that at least once, and it's mortifying when it happens. And I've still got a hole in the floor in the other room from where it happened there, and the weights just tipped up. But like, he still carries on doing it the same way. And I just thought, I'm not going to say anything anymore. He's got to see that for himself. He's got to see that panic of the bar falling off and weights flying everywhere and everyone's staring at you in the gym. Sometimes you have to just experience those things for yourself.
Yeah.
Failure. And, you know, you can always try and learn as much as you can for other people, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to make those mistakes yourself. Like, it's, and getting comfortable with that and actually saying, do you know what, that didn't work, but I've learned from it. It's going to be okay. Sometimes at the time, it's the worst thing in the world. A business failure, a relationship breakup, all of those things, you know, like when they happened in your past, like, they were heartbreaking at the time. But looking back, it's like, well, would I have changed any of those things now? Because I wouldn't be here right in this moment. And I think that's what you've got to, sometimes it's a retrospective analysis really that needs to be done on these things to really put it into context.
Yeah, and I love that bit. Like, you can't kind of remove any elements of your life because you wouldn't be where you are. So it's not really like fucking up. Even like, you know, I had cancer a few years ago, and it's like, I wouldn't remove that because that opened so many doors and gave me a different perspective and stuff. And it was shit at the time, but that's made me who I am and taken me to this point. And I think, like, take risks in life, like try things out. Like, taking risks is super important. So if you're in your business and you're like, it's going okay, it's going along, it's all right, that's kind of not that fun, is it? Like, actually, when you're trying things out, that's where the fun is. That's where you're going to learn stuff. So, you know, if you're listening to this, I would be looking, right, well, what am I doing? What's the bare bones of it? Where could I take a risk? Where could I try something out? Because you might find something that works and changes your whole business or your whole perception of life, or whatever that looks like. But being a risk taker, you don't need to throw everything up in the air, but it's like trying things is important. Risk taking. I love risk taking. You know, and I think most people who start businesses have already taken the biggest risk. Starting a business in the first place. Like,
it's a massive risk. It's a massive risk.
Yeah, you've already done that first step. Like, keep going, keep pushing, keep trying things out.
Yeah, and it's, you don't have to, you know, like when we talk about risk. Oh, morning, Irfan, by the way. Yeah, good to see you. It has been a very long time. Yeah, you don't have to like really take these massive big risks. You can just break things down, you know. So if you've got like a new idea or maybe something you want to launch within the business, maybe you've got a course, for example, that you want to launch. You don't have to go and write this huge course and then try and sell it. You can just actually ask your audience, would you buy this course? And, you know, and start that way. And then if people like it, great, then you can go and build it. So there's lots and lots of different ways. So if you've got something that's a big risk, just taking it and planning it out, you can break it down always, every single time, into much, much smaller steps. Then those risks are mitigated. And yeah, that, you know, it might mean you're putting something out on your social media and say, what about this course? You're really excited, and you just get tumbleweeds. But you wouldn't have known done that. And that's and then, you know, you can ask for feedback and then refine that and do something a little bit different. You have to be testing stuff. You have to be trying stuff out. You have to be comfortable with failure. And as a general rule of thumb, 80% of the stuff should really not be working. That 20% though, if you're in that 20%, will be absolute fucking magic. Like that will be the stuff. And over the course of weeks and months and years, those things will start to get, and then the growth in your business will really start to accelerate, because all of these things that you've tried and failed will start to get traction. So that's it. So that's why we want to get comfortable with fucking up.
Because you grow. It's all about the growth, getting comfortable fucking up and growing up.
And growing up. There we go. So, yes, so that's it. Unless you've got anything else you want to chuck in, Doodah, before you go and have a cheeky nap.
Yeah, coffee. You told me to drink coffee, didn't you? I'll go and drink some
coffee, and you need bacon and greasy food. That is what's required.
The day will be over soon. I'll get back in bed.
We're going to be okay. Well, thank you very much for watching, everybody listening, and we will see you again next Friday with a very unhungover Debbie Doodah. I might have you over next week, and we'll see you. We'll see you next Friday, 10 o'clock for 10 minutes of business Q&A. Laters, bye.